Certainly. We have another deciding match for you here today. This is a 1v1 best of 3, and we're up against VeeVee. VeeVee is playing as the Italians, which makes a lot of sense as this is Island, and I am playing as Persians, and I'll explain why in just a little bit. In the previous games, VeeVee absolutely destroyed me when I went Bulgarians. Oh man. I'm having some lag issues right now, which is not good. Want to read, and I'm like, oh, I'm just seeing I'm against Italians, and I'm like, oh man, if he goes fast, then I could be in some serious problems. But we're not even thinking about imp. We're thinking about dropping that TC on his face. And the reason why is the first game that we played, I played Bulgarians, and he absolutely picked me apart. Like, precision. Oh, I thought you picked the wrong Civ. I didn't pick Civ, still from the last game. That brings me to our second game. I picked Skorchka, or whatever that name is called from that island map that Anyway, the other Best of 3 series, if you didn't watch the final match in that one, that is the map that I played, and of course I TC dropped in that one. I'm coming to realize like it's not my favorite strategy by any means, but I'm really good at TC dropping, or maybe not really good, not like Ruben stock levels good, but I'm pretty decent at it. So I'm trying to play some mind games here. I'm like, oh yeah, it's fine, like I didn't really mean to pick Persians, but you know what, it's fine. I'll just go with it. I know it's a water map, but it's fine. So here's where the strategy comes into play a little bit. We are not going to be building a mill because we want to drop as quickly as possible. The way we're going to do that is we're going to construct a dock as early on as possible, and we are eventually going to build transport ships from there. Now, what's very favorable that we found both those spores very quickly, and we are experiencing some lag in this game, so if you see some pauses throughout, that happens. Anyway, I wasn't quite sure. It's been a long time since I have... Oh, and that villager isn't really doing his job. It's been a long time since I have done this strategy. It has happened once or twice that on ranked, I get island and I'm just like, oh, you know what? F it. But nowadays, I just go for something else, and this is not very efficient lumber collect usage. You definitely want to space these out all on their own individual tree. But you know what? I was nervous. It's a best of 3 series. It all comes down to this game. Meanwhile, VeeVee, probably the better player if I'm being completely honest with you. Very standard stuff. We have wood being collected. We have food being collected. Probably going to see a dock constructed pretty soon by this villager. Meanwhile, on my side of the field, we're going to go for something completely different. We're not going to invest any of that wood into fish, at least not in the beginning. We're going to try and create some transports. We're going to bring over as many villagers as we can, and then we're going to have to bring that transport back because we're not going to have enough villagers otherwise to rush that TC up. Once again, we don't want to take any of these sheep yet because we're not going to be constructing a mill anytime soon, and we do want to be able to produce villagers once we get to our opponent's side of the field. Honestly, I felt like I was just going to straight up lose this game, so I went for the memeiest strat possible. Now, it doesn't really matter if you win or lose. I wanted to post this game of Numai, myself, and Perseus, where we got absolutely picked apart by scouts. It was really good play on their end, and we're housed. And we're housed. Oh, come on, why that villager? That villager has to be transported. Come on, POOOOOP Lord. You can see I'm messing up all over the place. And I couldn't get my scout. Jeffrey, get into the transport. Get into the transport. Jeez. That guy, man. I really need to get a Jeffrey 2.0 like Perseus always tells me. But you know what? You do the best you can with the tools that you were given. So we do not want him to spot this transport. That would be very bad because he'll probably just rush us and absolutely demolish us. So we're just trying to see where is the island, and we hope that it's not one of these two center islands. If you look at my perspective right now, I feel like this is his island because I kind of can see that my island goes forward. So we're going to keep that there. We're going to keep it idle. We don't care if it's idle or not. We're actually going to build another transport so that we can bring another 15... Poop Lord. Are you kidding me? Why did you bring a knife? I just like to go in the ship back and forth. Oh, lady. Total Karen over here, taking up another spot. So I send over 5, and then I'm like, wait. I can only send in 4. Oh, Karen. Come on, Karen. And we're housed again. We're having a great time being housed in this one. So now I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay, I'll just build some fishing ships. And that's a huge mistake, because now we don't have enough wood because I want to keep collecting food, right? But now we don't have enough wood, so disaster over here. And if we don't realize this soon enough, then we are going to be absolutely roasted. Now I am sending out Jeffrey to try and find the opponent as quickly as possible. We are dropping these villagers off, and we are going to be going for that TC drop as soon as possible. Now, obviously, VeeVee can see that scout. No, cannot see that scout yet. Did he see that scout? I think he did see that scout, yeah, because now he's quickly trying to build in with palisade walls and houses and all of that good stuff. And I'm like, why can't I build, what's going on here? Why can't I build a dock? And the reason I can't build a TC is because I don't have enough wood. So I quickly canceled my fishing ships, and now we're able to build one. So we don't actually drop it here, we actually end up dropping it down below here. And it turns out that this is the perfect position as Jeffrey dies a terrible, terrible, terrible death. Jeffrey, what did you do in this game? Not get on the transport, give away our position. The only problem here is that I cannot build this with all of my villagers. So I am choosing just to fight his villagers with my villagers, and hopefully the scout as well. You killed Jeffrey! We don't like Jeffrey very much, but even still, you don't kill our friends. I don't know, that's just the side story I have going on in my head. And that villager can definitely be ranged. These villagers need to be pulled back, but I guess we're just going to click it through. And go in. And that's another Deville, very nice. And this actually ranges these fishing ships if they do come over on this side. So I had some lag, yeah. I had a whole bunch of lag in this one. Trying to send these guys out. And I think VeeVee does something pretty smart in this particular situation. Is going to build a galley, and that can actually range these berries quite nicely. Meanwhile, the island at home, we're just collecting food, and now is the time to build fishing ships. I didn't really quite do that correctly, but you know what, it's all good. And I can't actually reach some of these fish, so I want to get as many of these fish down as I possibly can. If he does come in a little bit too close, I can almost barely reach that. I don't know what she was doing, but it was a laggy mess, to be honest with you, on my end. So I'm just retreating these guys. I'm probably going to try and take this wood over here just to keep that wood income up. We also have to repair. You definitely don't want to do what VeeVee did in this situation, which is go into a TC war repairing, and I'm repairing with Persians. That is not a good idea, just because their TCs have so much more HP. If we look at the overall villager count right now, we have 29 for myself and 30 pops, so 29, pretty even, but we do have that one military unit over there. A lot of VeeVee's eco is also fish, and a whole bunch of fishing ships did go down just simply due to that TC, which is a lot of wood wasted now. So this was honestly like the perfect spot for this TC. I got very, very lucky with this. And who does? Oh, she's gonna die. Yeah, I was trying to build some cheeky palisades to make the... Does she live? I did not realize that she lived. I guess she lives, and she's actually going to lure this guy to his death like the siren she is. Oh my goodness. Wow. You are a champion, lady. Nice job. Lured that guy to his death, and now we're realizing that this is going to go down, so we really don't want him to rebuild ATC. We also don't know how many fishing ships he still has, so we are going to feudal, and we're going to immediately pump out fire ships, as many fire ships as we possibly can. We're even transitioning onto gold just to make sure that he's not hugely fish booming behind us, because he probably needs wood to build a TC. Do you realize that tower is going over here, and we're just going to rush that down? All the boys and girls are getting pulled. We are taking that tower down. We're fill fighting. He's fill fighting me. Messy stuff. But overall now we are slightly ahead because we are able to produce villagers still, and he is not. He doesn't have a TC. and just fight, 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 fight. You can see all the idols, so much click work to be done right now as soon as one target is destroyed. So this is where I like to shift click. Shift clicking really helps. Come on, Poop Lord, you gotta get this fight going. And yeah, this is messy. This is aggressive. This is kind of the playstyle that I like a lot, although I don't really like TC drops that much anymore. People get pretty frustrated by them, and now I realize that he's building his TC over here. Not a bad spot, but I realize that I have enough wood, so I'm going to cancel some of those fire ships. Also don't know where he is in terms of fire, so I think I sent it over here because I figured that he probably has redocked over here to get more. And there we go. Just build another TC right there, and then is going to shoot this lovely lady. She's going to retreat just a little bit. She survives. And we don't have a ton of villagers here. 13 villagers on his island. Mostly our eco is completely undisturbed at home. And oh, this is where I got lag. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, come on. Oh, thank goodness. I think I had to pause it there. Maybe I paused it a little bit later, but that was definitely not good on my end. And what are we doing now? Okay, there's the fire ship. It's going to try and search for fishing ships. No fishing ships found, but there are villagers here to be found. And there's just a lot of chaos going on. It's hard to keep track of things, so definitely understand VeeVee's situation there. I actually did record the full series accidentally. Thank you, OBS. Really appreciate that. Making sure that OBS is still running because I have had some issues with it. And once we have had those, come on, Poop Lord, get these into action. Okay, because we haven't seen this fish, so and the score is still pretty even, so we don't know how bad it is for VeeVee. I would say it's pretty bad at this point, although he does have that continual food income back over here. And we have just idols everywhere, walling in golds. The reason that we're walling in golds is obviously because we don't want him to get the castle anytime. Yeah, so there was a palace right there. I'm sorry, really bad lag. I shouldn't have my VPN on. Are you ready? And he says, yes! To be completely honest with you, I don't think VeeVee is a pretty good player. I don't think I surprised VeeVee with this this pick here. But TC drops are just tough. They are really tough to deal with. And sadly, I've come to the conclusion that I'm pretty solid at TC drops. I'm not going to say I'm Ruben stock levels or anything like that, but if I really need to win a game, then I kind of go for this. So very smart from VeeVee to pick Island. And yeah, this is messy stuff right now. We're up 6 population. We did find these fish here in the back. I didn't mention that, but TC dropping all over the place, and something funny is about to occur. VeeVee kind of knows how bad it is. And pull all the boys and girls! Attack! And this is definitely not what you want to do, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Attack! Don't let that TC stand! And we're just trying to repair this, and VeeVee actually realizes this, like, what are you doing? You're repairing over here? Die, lady! Die! Die, dude, die! And I should have probably garrisoned these, but I did not manage to do that quick enough. But this is great for us, and once more villagers come out, we're just going to continuously repair. We even pull a cheeky boy over there to repair, and this is GG. Anyway, that's a TC drop on Island. I really don't recommend this strategy, but once again, this was VeeVee's home map. It was 1-1 in the series. This was the deciding game, and I think it was a really good pick because I hate water maps. Absolutely hate water maps. I've yet to be convinced that water maps are good. I think water maps are terrible. And maybe some of you guys can convince me with some really good island games or something in that nature, but I don't see myself liking island or migration anytime soon. In both my tournament games that I've played so far, all of 2, I hated both migration and island the most, regardless win or lose. We're just going to quickly go through these statistics. We're not going to spend too much time on it, and we are going to show you the overall graph. And just TC drops, man. TC drops on island. Don't do it. It's dumb. Pick a different map. Learn how to play water maps. But we're all about the dumb strats here. This is just poop lord things for you. If you do really want to, this is how you do it. Build some transports. I wouldn't recommend doing one transport. I would recommend doing two. The reason for that is you just get villagers over so much faster. If your opponent is in feudal age for a long period of time, that's bad news bears for you. That's really bad news bears. You want to get it up early feudal. That's probably the best that you can do. Early feudal on their end. Anyway, thank you guys so much for walking. Really appreciate it. Keep walking.